driving through.
Waimea.
What's Waimea known for?
Cattle.
Lots and lots of cattle.
There's a pony there.
And ponies. So we're driving on our way from Hilo to Captain Cook, which is just south of Kona. You can kind of tell we're not in like Northern California or Central Valley, California, where there's cattle. It's like intermixed with green for the cattle. You've got regular, wood trees, but then we also have tropical lush plants like palm trees, ginger. So you know you're not in California. So now our terrain is changing again as we're headed toward the westward side of the island. It's getting a little bit more brown. It's still got vegetation and everything, but it's getting a little brown. And you can start seeing some of the lava rock poking out of the terrain. Kind of like if you've ever driven past Sacramento, Northern California, where it's volcanic rockland. This is what it kind of looks like.
Arriving at Big Island Base.
Oh yeah.
We're like forcing into bags. I think something's not supposed to.
So I'll tell you right now, the bees, they are not calmed down by their house going on fire, right? And that's because the bees, when they think their house is on fire, they're kind of concerned, just like we would be, right? So when their house is on fire, they engorge themselves with honey. They eat so much honey, their stomachs belly out, and they can't quite curl into a C shape and sting us. Lastly, when the bees are smelling the smoke, we're covering up something important. If we're stung, if and only if, they'll leave behind the smell of bananas on my skin. Tell them where I am, where to find me, where to sting me again. So it's very, very convenient for the bees to leave that on there, right? And then as well, I have a veil, right? This is just covering my head. And that's because we have a lot of sensitive areas in that part of our body, right? We have our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth. Coincidentally, very painful, but also they're very dark areas, right? So the bees kind of aim for those. So if you're a bear, a skunk, or a badger, or mate, you'd probably want to leave the hive very quickly after getting one to the mouth, to the eyes, to the ears, to the nose, right? Very sensitive areas. So luckily for the bees, they're keeping everybody out with very, very strong ideas, right?
Don't leave your hands.
Okay. So let's go and see everything firsthand. So what we're going to do is go through one of these hives that does not have rocks on top. So I'm going to go through this one right in the center, and that's because we have a lot of people, right, and everybody seems like they're very curious right now. So with this smoker, we're just going to hit the bees with a little bit of smoke. Hello ladies, long time no see, how have you been? Right, good to hear, good to hear. Alright, all the casualties you have when you go and meet somebody, right? So we're going to open up the box. We're gonna pry it open. Does anyone know why I'm prying it open? The bees are gluing everything together with something in the hive. That was the answer I wanted you to say, and it's wrong. The answer is propolis, right? The forgotten bee substance. No one ever knows what it is. And the cool thing about it is that, one, it's very strong. They call it bee glue. It's a rock that they've covered in propolis. I just stuck it to the wall. It's been there for about 2 weeks, 3 nights, right? But as well, this bee glue is antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. So it's really something special. It was the first cavity filler, right? So it was our first filling known to man. So it was used in dentistry. And then as well, does anyone know who our first beekeepers were? Pretty long time ago, we found some honey and some wine and some oil in a tomb.
Egyptians.
Yeah, the Egyptians. And you know what? They used to do something special with their royalty, right?
That's a lot.
Right? Do you guys know what they used to do with their royalty? What do you think? Yes. What do you guys think? What would they do with the royalty in the Egyptian times? Sometimes they do it to a cat too. Yeah, they mummify them. So the cool thing is everyone says, wow, the Egyptians were so smart, they're mummifying their dead, or whatever they might say about the Egyptians for mummifying their dead. But they weren't the first ones to do it. These honeybees are using this propolis, this sticky resinous substance, mixture of resins from the trees, wax in their body, and they're actually propolising over mice, rats, geckos they get stuck in the hive, and they mummify them. Then spread disease and pests throughout the hive.
Interesting.
Right? And there you go, one chunk of propolis for you guys. It's all sticky, resinous, right?
Can you stretch it or anything? That's kind of
And
interesting.
then back in the day, they would fill your tooth with that. And I
Sterile,
wouldn't recommend
right?
having
Yeah.
any hot
Wow.
soup. And so look what we got here. We have all these bees. How the heck are we gonna get in there? Well, the smoker worked better, making it a lot easier. So we're gonna get this smoker going a little bit. And we're gonna smoke them out a little bit. Come on, ladies.
Don't touch me.
Just a little bit of smoke. Well, so the first frame I'm gonna get out is honey. Right? I can tell you it's all gonna be honey because, well, that's the way the bees build. So look what we have here. So the boys, after they mate, they immediately pass away. So they have no chance of survival after that.
How come they pop?
What they're trying to do is prevent the queen from mating with anybody else. They leave their male reproductive organ on the female as a chastity belt.
Oh my god.
Yes, and then, but luckily for the boys, if you saw he had a fluffy butt,
Yeah.
the fluffy butt is meant for pulling out that chastity belt so that he can mate with her. Because you know what? During their whole lifetime, they're only gathering a tablespoon of honey. A teaspoon, I mean. So even less. So the reason they're gathering so little is because they're gathering a whole bunch of nectar. The nectar is in the flowers and it's very water rich, right? So they're pulling out most of that water and concentrating it down, right? And that's why you get a 10-pound mango and it ends up coming out like 1 pound of dried mango, right? Not very much at all, right? And very reduces down. So the same thing for the bees. They're constantly working, but they're constantly reducing it down and concentrating it. And that's what helps it stay so nice for so long because it has no moisture, right? It's very high in sugar. It's got natural acids in it. It's got minerals. It's got proteins. It's got a little bit of everything in it. So it's really something unique. And then we're going to move down further into this hive. And the reason that is because all of our fun stuff is in this bigger box in the middle. At least we're hoping, right? So what we're going to do is pry open this box. Ugh, all glued together because of that propolis. This is about 60, 70 pounds, maybe 50. So we're going to pry out these frames, and I think we're going to find some babies right off the bat. Oh, look what we found. All the good stuff. All right, we've got one more coming out for you ladies over here too. We've got right over here. Hello, come on out, sweet lady. You have so much to do in life.
Oh, look, got one.
Yep, she's gonna come right out and she's gonna get right to work. Boom, there she is. Happy birthday. Right, they suggest that the first thing they do is get out and make their bed, but you can see there's 4 unmade beds right here, and I'm not judging anybody, but they did not make them. Those queen cells, they will develop in about 16 days. All the other cells, the workers, take about 21 days, and the drones take about 24.
Which one's like this one?
Yeah, that one bulging out.
Yeah.
facing a different direction, right? Let me see if I can settle it down. I've just got so many bees on this frame. There we go, ladies. Gotta get a good angle. So we can look at this one right here, queen cell, this one right here. And what that means is not that this queen isn't doing a very good job, it means that she's doing so good of a job that there's no more room left, right? The family's too big, we need a new house. So what they're doing is they are building a brand new queen to take care of the old house, right? So rather than just being like up and leaving and starting a brand new and getting a new mansion, they leave the old queen, they leave the new queen and half the bees behind to take care of that old house. And the new queen, she goes out and she takes about half, the old queen I mean, goes out and she takes about half the bees with her. Right? Some say about 2/3.
So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started now that almost everyone's over here in our semicircle, ready for some honey. This very first one is gonna be the macadamia honey. And one of the nice things about the macadamia honey is going to be that it's our winter blossom. We put our bees out there in November, and they're going for almost close to 5-6 months, just depending on the season and the year. The nice thing about being a beekeeper is that it is based off the season, so there's only so much I can do to modify anything. So what's good about this one is it has a real rich nature. It's more of a classic dark honey flavor, but that being said, it's not dedicated to necessarily being a traditional style honey. You can use it in many different ways. One of my favorite things about it is going to be that it's more of a wintry flavor. Good deal. So the next one is going to be ohilehua. Ohilehua now is a native flower. It's the first thing up after lava flow. So it's a really neat flower. The other thing that's really unique about the honey is it's already a crystallized honey, so it's not going anywhere outside of the jar. Now, if you see this honey and it's not in a liquid form, expect it to start going ahead and, or it's in the liquid form, expect it to start crystallizing very quickly. Typically, once we pull it out of the hive, we have about a week before it starts the process. And then it takes a few more weeks, like 21 days, typically what we expect for it to be completely crystallized throughout the jar. Now, the nice thing is, because it crystallizes so quickly, it has a real nice, smooth texture. A lot like butter, not necessarily dedicated to being only used as a solid, though, because if you do mix this into tea, if you do mix this onto like a warm toast or anything, you mix it, you spread it across the top of a warm toast. It'll spread like butter, but then sink right in and not slosh about. Nice. Now, this one is, I heard someone say it's more mild of a flavor. I think it has more of the floral accents. We need one more over here? No problem. Yeah. Yeah, the crystallization lends itself to being kind of tasting straight like cinnamon. Really like you a Christmas berry. Now, a lot of us around here just refer to it as Christmas berry, but it's probably the Brazilian pepper. And so if you meet any botanist, they'll tell you and correct you all the time. No, that's not Christmas berry, that is the Brazilian pepper. And that's because a lot of people do try to get away saying, oh, this is a native tree. Not just about the willy leggy, but about a lot of things out here. And the fact of the matter is it's not. The Brazilian pepper should tell you where it's from. Yeah. Now, so when this one goes ahead and starts the process of crystallizing, it won't be as nice and smooth. It'll be kind of glass-like, a little bit harder to work with, and I would recommend definitely putting this one under the tap. The other thing you can see is we throw it in the windowsill, and it works out really well for us to keep it nice and just kind of an ambient warmth. So the next one in the front line is going to be no longer pure blossom honey. These are all going to be based off the name of the flower that they're going to. And that's going to be the nice thing about it. Is we're going to be getting 3 seasons out of the year, most about 10 months of bloom, which you can't shake a stick at as a beekeeper. But now we have 2 infusions. This is going to be my ohilehua with cinnamon infused in. You can see as honey crystallizes, it causes what's on top called a bloom, which you can see is kind of like a little rosy ring on this one, but that's because this is going to be an infusion with cinnamon. So you can see the cinnamon spice has been pushed up, but that whitish color is actually going to be part of propolis, beeswax, and things like that.
Just down the road from Big Island Bees is Captain Cook's Monument, which is down in a kind of like a bay area in the Captain Cook area. You can actually see the monument from the shore, which is on the other side of the bay. The only way you can reach it is by either hiking down on the other side or by kayak. So, but this shows you a little bit of how you can see it and where to go and kind of see the ocean and everything else.